Good news for the Grey Knights and Thousand Sons players today. The codexes are announced, there are a couple of points drops, and there's a new box set on the way. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, the strategy-focused 40k channel, where today we're talking about the news that Grey Knights and Thousand Sons are getting an update. This comes alongside the previews for the points drops that we saw earlier today, which I have already made a video on, where they talked about a few things that are going down in the Munitorum Field Handbook. I think they've chosen to release the news of this codex now, because apparently they're going to have some funky points values in the new chapter approved, the points values that will be in these two books. Of course, when the new codexes drop, the new units get a big bump in terms of abilities and things, and it can often mean that points are going to increase. For Grey Knights and Thousand Sons in particular, these books are going to mean that their basic troops are going to be getting 2 wounds, and their Terminators are going to be getting 3. So it stands to reason that all of their units' points might go up a little bit. Apparently these codexes were supposed to drop at the same time as chapter approved. Unfortunately, Games Workshop has had logistical problems over the past few months, and they're running their releases behind schedule. It means that we're now going to get the chapter approved points before we get these books, so they had to come out to say that these guys were getting updates, and they've also issued an interim points document that will override the one in the upcoming chapter approved, until these codexes are actually released, and then they'll use those points. So these two codexes are confirmed to be coming after Orcs and Sisters of Battle, though currently we don't know which order the Orcs or the Sisters are going to be dropping in. To be honest, I'd already assumed that Grey Knights and Thousand Sons would be the next two releases anyway. We after all saw a nice preview of them in Warhammer Fest, where it showed a short video about fire and magic, saying that Thousand Sons vs Grey Knights would be a thing. It's going to be a welcome buff for both codexes, to be honest. Both Thousand Sons and Grey Knights have been struggling in 9th edition. They lost their unlimited smites towards the start of the edition. I think the Grey Knights can still kind of make do, building around some big synergies on paladin units and things, but the Thousand Sons are really struggling right now because they just don't really have very efficient battle line units. Their Rubric Marines, Terminators and Zangors just don't really hold up to the rigours of what they need to achieve in 9th compared with other armies. Grey Knights are occasionally doing well on their own, but Thousand Sons almost never see play as a standalone army, generally only appearing in any sort of competitive fashion as part of a Chaos Soup list. Their sorcerers are really quite efficient, and they have some powerful buffs and tricks, but the rest of their units just aren't really all that good. It could be quite a good time to jump into either army though when they're released, as it looks like they're going to have a box set come out. In the nice little preview video at the end of Warhammer Fest, we saw these little astral projections of Grey Knights and Thousand Sons fighting each other, which had the moniker Fire and Magic at the end of the video, making me think that this could be the title for the new box set. From the flavour text posted by Warhammer community around that, they all but confirmed that, so I'm guessing that we're going to be seeing some sort of nice box set, very similar to Piety and Pain, likely a small discount on the Thousand Sons and Grey Knights within, and I'm going to guess a new character miniature for both factions, whether it's something brand new or just an old model updated. Talking of which, Games Workshop did specifically call out Castellan Crow in that preview, so I'm guessing that he's going to be the new Grey Knight miniature within the kit. He certainly makes sense, to be honest. He's one of their unique characters, and is a prime target for a plastic kit all of his own. I'm going to guess it's going to be a release a bit more in the style of things like Drakari, who got Lilith Hesperax, or the Abmech, who got their new Skitarii Marshal, but maybe not tons of extra kits like, say, Sisters or Orcs. If this was indeed the trailer for the battle box and not just the codexes in general, then it's heavily implied what's going to be in the content of that box as well. We can see a Dread Knight, a Zangor Shaman, and a Thousand Sons character. I think a Dread Knight's really quite a lightly include on the Grey Knight side as well. They don't have all that many unique kits, so it's kind of likely that they'd put the Dread Knight in. In any case, this could certainly be a massive boost to anyone starting Grey Knights or Thousand Sons. As well as the box set, it's also pretty much guaranteed that they'll be getting combat patrol boxes all of their own, and with factions with quite a small miniature pool, that means that you're quite likely to get most of the factions' models at a discount in one form or another. So let's have a quick look at those codex covers and the points changes that Games Workshop released. First of all, for the Grey Knights, I really quite like that codex cover. A nice chap brandishing his Force Halberd there, blazing away with his Stormbolter, and I really think that that cool purple backdrop really sets off the silver armour. Quite a pretty looking codex, I think, at least compared with some of the others that have come out recently. For the interim points changes, it seems that Games Workshop are going the route of pretty much keeping them the same until the Grey Knight and Thousand Sons players get the new rules. To be honest, this kind of makes sense. I'm not sure there's a massive amount of value in shaking all the points costs up if they're just about to change again anyway. In any case though, there are a couple of exceptions. Both Land Raiders and Storm Ravens both seem to have dropped. The Land Raider change is already one that we knew about from the previewed chapter approved points, dropping from 285 to 265, a small but meaningful increase. It most certainly makes them a lot more palatable, though I'm still not convinced that they're going to be run in many competitive lists, particularly in Grey Knights. Most of their synergies go around their infantry models, and vehicles are kind of a bit redundant. Also, unless they have any new rules for the Land Raider coming out, they don't really get around the idea that you're still paying for a load of expensive guns that might well get tagged in combat if you advance forward. For some reason as well, it seems that their Storm Bolters now cost 5 points on the Land Raider, which has gone up from 3 previously. I'm not really sure why they made that change. I guess it's not really the biggest deal either way. The other change, which I'm going to guess is a general change out of the Space Marine Codexes as well, is the Storm Raven gunship. The Storm Raven has dropped 20 points, it's down to 290 points from 310, though for the Grey Knights it does seem to have acquired a cost for its twin las cannons, which cost 10 points for the pair now. I guess it depends on exactly how you equip it. Maybe those plasma cannons and assault cannons are just looking a little bit more tempting than before due to the points cost disparity. Otherwise, literally everything else in the points update is the same as best I can see. Please correct me if you spot anything else, and that does include a fair few generic picks, things like standard dreadnoughts, rhinos, or razorbacks. Not at all unexpected really, but I do think that the points dropped to the Land Raiders and Storm Ravens were both good ideas. Both of those are not seen in any competitive lists right now, so getting them a bit more of a lease of life is no bad thing. Finally, we come to the Thousand Sons. For me, maybe I'm not quite as big a fan of their cover compared with the Grey Knight one. I guess it's alright, maybe just the colours look a tiny bit more washed out perhaps. Still a cool bit of new artwork, and cool to see the face of Thousand Sons in 9th. For those interim points values, it seems that we have even less changes compared with the Grey Knights. Out of all the datasheets in the book, it's literally only the Land Raider that seems to have dropped. It's gone down to 265 from 285. Weirdly enough, on the Chaos Land Raider, the Combi Bolter is entirely unchanged, netting you a crazy 2-point advantage over the Loyalists. Again, other than that, everything else is unchanged as best I can tell from the interim points, and that includes many generic picks such as Rhinos, Chaos Cultists, Hellbrutes, and also a few demon units such as the Flamers, Horrors and Screamers, which all had datasheets in the previous Thousand Sons Codex. Again, if anyone spots anything different, please let me know and I'll post it down as a correction in a pinned comment. So anyway, very exciting news for the Magic users of Warhammer 40k. I think it's pretty good that these guys are going next, to be honest. They're some of the armies that most need it, compared with say the previous Abmech Sisters and Orcs, who would say we're all kind of doing fine at the moment with their codexes in 8th. It's nice to see some of the armies that don't have quite as much love right now get a bit of an update. As always, look forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas down in the comments and what you'd like to see in the new codexes. Feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics if you'd like to hear more about them. I'll most certainly review both books once they're out and go through every choice in full. Finally, if you are enjoying the videos on the channel regularly and you'd like to help keep them coming, I would just like to mention that the channel has a Patreon page which you can find down in the video description below. Making all of these videos does take a fair amount of time and effort, so if you are enjoying regularly, any support is enormously appreciated. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, such as seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry to the prize giveaways with the chance to win some big model kits every month. If any of those sound good to you, or you'd just like to help support, feel free to check out the Patreon page, it's in the video description. In any case, an enormous thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.